A very, very good morning to all of you. Welcome to today's class. This is your last class of the year. And today we'll be discussing basically continuing our discussion on computation of total income and tax payable. I hope all of you solved the question which we discussed in the previous class and your homework which we did, which was given to you. So before we proceed, I would like to take your queries of the previous session and any queries which you have while solving the questions which are given in your test of knowledge section. How to proceed, anything which you have in relation to this chapter, I would be very happy to take the queries first. Correct, very well said, Dhyanesh. Today is the last session for income tax, also last day for the 2022, also for filing belated return and revising your return. Good morning, Nikita, Sankaran, Mitvesh Bhai. Alok, Utkarsh. So, anyone has any queries? I'll be starting your favorite section today, 115 BSc. No query, great. कोई भी particular adjustment, I hope you people did it on your own. Perfect. Great. So shall we begin now? Very good if you have done it yourself, because once you do it yourself, you know where you got stuck. Sure. I'll quickly share my screen, just give me a moment. Okay. I hope the screen is visible to all. So by far, what we did, I'll do a quick revision. How do you compute your income tax, and how do you compute your total income, and then how do you compute your income tax payable? So it's just a process which you have to apply from identifying the category of person who he or she or it is, then moving on to identifying their residential status. Income tax computation happens for a defined year, which is a previous year, but it is assessed in the assessment year. Then you have to move on and identifying your Heads of income. What are your heads of income, and how much income you're sourcing from each particular head? The computation has to be done as per that head. Certain exemptions which are allowed in that head or deductions which are allowed in that particular head is to be given, and then your final net figure from that particular head should come. Total of 5 heads would result in your gross total income, but before that you have to make adjustments of clubbing in case you are being assessed for some other person, and set off and carry forward of losses. You'll come to your gross total income. From the gross total income, you have to give deductions of chapter 6A, which are deductions from your gross total income. So you will not say कि मैम मैंने एक deduction नीचे दे दिया ऊपर दे दिया, my total income is matching. No, you have to follow the sections and you have to follow the computation method. Just like, for example, 80CCD subsection 2, the employer deduction on NPS contribution, employer's contribution to NPS deduction. Usme, if you will give your answer will match, your gross total income will match if you're giving the contribution ka deduction to the SSE. But where you have to give it, that is very, very important. Then you will come to your total income. After total income, you have to compute your tax liability. Tax liability is generally for individuals, HUF or PBOI as per the slab rates. But be careful for certain income which are taxed at your special rate. So what will you do? Out of your total income, the income which are taxed at your special rate, you will tax them at those particular rates. And the income which are not taxed other than on special rate or other than special rate, that would apply a slab rate. Now, once you have computed the tax liability does not end here. After the tax, you have to add surcharge. If applicable, surcharge would be applicable on higher income groups. Surcharge is there on 50 lakhs above income. It is 10% above 1 crore, up to 1 crore income. If you have, it is 10%, 1 crore to 2 crore, it is 15, 2 crore above to 5 crore, it is 25, and 5 crore above, it is 37. But on capital gains, on short-term capital gains of equity-oriented mutual funds, business trust units, and your equity shares, it is and your dividend, the capping of surcharge is there. That is, it will maximum go to 15%. So the moment your income crosses 2 crore, irrespective of whatever the gains or dividends, etc., are, they will have a maximum surcharge of 15% on their tax. Clear? And then after surcharge, you have to add cess, and you will come to your total tax liability. From that total tax liability, you have to reduce any credits which you have, the credits of advance tax, TDS, TCS, you have to reduce them, and then you will come to any payable or refund which is there. There can be a rebate situation also once you compute the tax and before the cess. If a person is having the total income, I'm talking about the term total income, is less than 5 lakhs, or is up to 5 lakhs, he can get a rebate of tax up to 12,500. It is before cess. This is generally for all of us, but there is a concept of AMT, which we did in the previous class. AMT is called alternate minimum tax, which a person has to give in minimum. And this was specially introduced for those who did have profits, who were enjoying a good income, but because of certain deductions or exemptions available to them, they were not paying any tax. So if you are claiming deduction at section 10AA, 35 AD, capital expenditure, and certain particular deductions under chapter 6 heading C except ATP, you have to calculate AMT if your adjusted total income is more than 20 lakhs. Okay, and whatever the tax is there, whichever is higher as per what I said earlier, and as per your AMT, including surcharge cess, both you have to make the comparison. That would be your final tax liability. So just a quick revision of 3 minutes here. I hope all can relate to it. Okay. So now, what is then 115 BAC? Ma'am, AMT is done. What is 115 BAC? Why it is there? When it was introduced? So by Finance Act 2020, 115 BAC was actually introduced. This is again Finance Act 20 में this section was introduced. Now who क्या रहा था for like past 4-5 years the rates of tax, if you see the slab rates have not changed. They are the same up to 2,50,000, 5%, 2,50,000 to 5 lakh, your 20% and then 30%. What I'm saying, sorry, up to 2,50,000 no tax, 2,50,000 to 5 lakh 5%, 5 lakh to 10 lakh 20%, and 10 lakh above 30%. Okay, so there had been no change, and with COVID, with so many things, they did not want it to reduce the tax because already we are at a good brackets and good rebates are there. All of these things were there, but still there was felt a need that there should be some concession in tax slab rates, there should be some reduction in the slab rate, there should be some more benefit. So government made a very smart move. What they did, they introduced a new section altogether. This is called now a new tax regime. Though it is again 2 years old, but it is called a new tax regime. Why it is called new tax regime? Or it's called an alternate tax regime. Now, why this came here, I told you, because the government did want to show that yes, we are concerned. We know we are concerned about the tax which you're paying, but at the same time, government wanted us to realize that they are giving us so many deductions, so many exemptions under particular heads from gross total income. And then we have, in cases we are making losses, we have an options to carry them forward and reduce our income for the next years also. So they wanted to make us realize also, and at the same time they wanted to give us the benefit. So they came up with the idea of this new tax regime whereby the slab rates were made more small so that the tax rates can be effectively lower. So now under the new tax regime, as you can see on the screen, what were the slab rates going? Now the slabs were more divided. We have now 2,50,000, then 5 lakh, and then 10 lakh. Correct. Now here the slab rates are divided to more 2.5 lakhs. So see, up to 2,50,000, there is no tax. Then 2,50,000 above to 5 lakh, there is 5%. 5 lakh to 7,50,000, 10%. 7,50,000 above to 10 lakh, 15%. 10 lakh to 12 lakh 50,000, 20%, 12 lakh 50,000 to 15 lakh 25%, and 15 above 30%. So जो हमारे में 10 lakh above 30% आ रहा है, वो यहाँ पे 5 lakh 15 lakh above पे आ रहा है. That means 5 lakh तो वो जो income जिसपे otherwise हमारा 30% लग रहा था, उसमें these rates are now divided. So you can see for every 2,50,000 there's a 5% increase. 5 to 7.5, 7.5 to 10, 10 to 20.5, 12.5 to 15, and above 15, 30%. Now, the moment you will see this rate, you will be like, ma'am, yehi to badhiya hai. This is the best thing because वहाँ पे तो 10% आपको 5 लाख above to 10 लाख में देना है, यहाँ पे 10% आपको 5 लाख to 7.5 पे देना है, and then 7.5 to 10 lakh में 15% देना है, then 10 lakh above में से 20% देना है. So isn't this better because यहाँ पे slab rates और कम हो गए, tax rates और कम हो गए, correct? So you'll be like, man, this is a better scheme. This anyone should go for it. Why? Because concession has been more here. I say yes, but when I read through the provisions, I realized that government has taken away, or government has asked us, if you want this, you need to give something away. So you need to forego certain benefits, certain exemptions, certain deductions which are allowed to you. So some very important deductions, benefits, exemptions. So some people are quantifying it to around 50, 60 exemption and deduction the person has to give away, because they wanted to make us realize that yes, if we are charging a particular tax from you, we are giving you the benefits also. So if you want to avail this scheme, you need to forego certain benefits. So ma'am, आप इतने time से बोल रहे हो, what are the benefits which we have to forego? So let's understand what are the benefits first which we have to forego. So if I talk about salary में I have to forego leave travel concession. House rent allowance. I mean, this is something which a person in today's day claim anyway if they have salaries by some mean or the other. Then I have to forego my exemptions under section 10 clause 14, which is certain amount of exemptions or certain office space expenditure पे जो भी exemptions मिलता था, except few. ठीक है, then I have to forego my daily allowances or constituencies allowances of MPs MLA. अब इनका this is fully exempt, but they have to forego it. Then I have to forego salary में, if I talk about only salary, section 16 का deduction, which is 50,000. Entertainment allowance, if I'm a government employee, professional tax, whatever professional tax I'm paying during the year. So this is what is happening under salary. Now, if I talk about house property, I will not get the benefit of interest on loan. I will not get the benefit of interest on loan. बाकी municipal taxes, standard deduction, house property में allow होगा, but interest on loan का benefit would not be allowed. If I'm talking about a business and profession person, if he's into manufacturing, he'll not get additional depreciation सबसे पहले. Then there are more which, but they are not mentioned here because of PGBP के आपके sections में cover नहीं हुआ. Then certain payments to research association, scientific research, statistical research, national laboratory, universities, IITs, जिनके भी approved programs में when I was contributing, I was getting 100% deduction. वो allow नहीं होगा, वो disallow हो जाएगा. So all of the things, if you are claiming, would be disallowed, and then you have to get the benefits. 35AD, I mean, if I am running a business which is there, investment linked schemes may, if that business is there, and if I want to choose this scheme, I cannot claim capital expenditure. 35AD is a big loss. Then for other sources mean deduction of family pension, and not other sources, but few things more. Minor child ka exemption, which is almost 1500, but I get that would also not be allowed. 10AA ka deduction, which is 100% of your exports profits for first 5 years, 50% for the next 5 years, and 50% for the next 5 years or consecutive 5 years, provided certain conditions are fulfilled, would not be allowed. And then this is about particular heads. And then 80C to 80U Baba also would not be allowed. Now 80C to 80U may everything would not be allowed except 80CCD subsection 2, which is my employer contribution to NPS, जो मुझे 10% of salary मिलता है और 14% of salary मिलता है in case of central government employees. I'll only get this 80JJAA. This would be allowed and rest would not be allowed. And also, now I'll come to more points. सबसे पहले तो we saw what is the benefit which is given. Now I will come to more crucial points. And then we saw what is to be foregone. But there are certain more sections which are foregone, but at your level, since you have not studied it, the book has not mentioned the same. Okay. Now back to reality. Ma'am, is it a scheme that everyone has to opt? Is it a scheme available for all, resident, non-resident, individual, HF? Ma'am, senior citizens ka kya hua? Now let's understand a few things more. Okay. First of all, the scheme is only for individuals, HF. Residential status does not matter. You can be a resident, you can be a non-resident to claim this. So now I will come to explain this part. As you see, जैसे आपने ये देखा, you got attracted that what are the rates. But the moment you saw these, कि इतने सब benefits would be taken away, you got a sort of backstep that nahi baba, because we can save more taxes by claiming exemption under these heads instead of going to the slab rate. So you will say, ma'am, who will claim it? Now, interestingly, as you can see, non-residents are allowed to claim this. they will definitely claim it. All those people who come for job in India from outside India for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year on secondments, the scheme is a boon for them because they don't make investments. उनको tax saving investment से कुछ लेना देना नहीं है. They are not purchasing houses here. They are not having any major house rent allowance because they are generally staying in the company's accommodation. So for them, it is a win-win thing. For them, it's a win-win situation. They do not have to worry about it. वहाँ पे definitely they can save taxes. So expats के लिए this is a good opportunity. Or for students who have just started earning, it's also a good opportunity. Those who are not having major investments at an early stage, those who are not into business, for senior citizens also, it's a good opportunity when they do not have any certain major deductions to claim because उनका तो कभी कभार ATD भी नहीं होता, correct? LIC के भी premium सब pay हो चुके होते हैं, so for them it is also a good scheme. Now this will bring me to the next question. Ma'am, senior citizen का जो higher exemption limit मिलता है और higher basic exemption limit मिलता है, will that be allowed for senior citizen? Will it be from 3 lakh to 5 lakh? No. Senior citizens का जो maximum exemption limit जो high होता है, that is not allowed. This rate is for everyone equally, irrespective of your residential status, irrespective of your age. So now for a senior citizen, you have to see which would be beneficial. Okay. Then next question which you will ask is, once claimed, whether it should be claimed always. Now this is a very, very important point. Please listen carefully. This scheme is an optional scheme. It is not mandatory for everyone. Since it's an option, this becomes a curious case of tax planning. You plan your taxes, you plan how much you have to pay. Now you have another right in your hand that, okay, I can choose this, I can choose this. This tax planning can happen. If you're not having major investments, if you're not running businesses, you have a simple, you're living in your own house, you do not have any big exemptions to claim for, go for this regime. So you can now consult your or give consultation to your clients basis the structure they have. You cannot apply कि हाँ सबके लिए this scheme is applicable. No, you have to see what a person's investments are, what a person's perspectives are, what a person wish to claim for. Compare the normal tax which we were doing up till now, which we were doing till the previous class. Compute the income as per this, compute the tax as per this, and compare where there is benefit. Now you will ask me, ma'am, if this is an option, can I change every year? Yes, you can. Yes, this option can be switched every year. 1 year I can take 115 BSc. Another year I might not take 115 BSc. When I business start kar diya, I will not take. 1 year I can claim 115 BSc. Now I have purchased a house. I want to claim the loan interest of it. I will not claim. Once the loan interest is claimed, after that I can come to the normal tax 115 BAC back. So you can switch from this to this, from this to this. But when I said this, I have applied this asterisk here, star here, that anyone can come out and or the scheme, but for person or individuals or HUF having income from business or profession. Having income from business or profession, if has opted for this scheme, cannot opt out and come again. So cannot opt out and come again to claim this. So what did I say? I'll give you a person named Mr. X and then Mr. Y. Mr. X is a salaried employee. Yeah, Mr. X is a salaried employee and Mr. Y is running his own business. Now, this scheme came in Finance Act 2020 and basically from previous year 2021 you can claim this scheme. Now, Mr. X is a salaried employee. He was not sure कि अभी तो scheme आई है, should I claim this or should I not claim this? I don't know. ठीक है? What should I do? So first year he did not opt for the scheme. He paid the tax as per his normal tax regime. One thing was he was not very much aware of the this new tax regime. Another thing, he was hesitant to understand what will happen and how will he give the declaration to employer and so stuff. Now next year he opted for the scheme 115 BAC May. So as for 115 BAC he paid the taxes. Then next year he felt that okay, I'm having lower taxes, I'll again claim this. These are previous years, okay? Now when in previous year 23-24 he was shifted to some other location. Now he has to claim house rent allowance and certain exemptions under section 1014 which benefits he has been given to. Now he is thinking what to do. He computed the income, he computed the taxes and he made a decision of not doing it. Okay, 23-24 में he again made the decision of not doing it. But 24-25 previous year when he was back to his hometown, he realized now there is no house rent allowance to claim. Now there is no certain exemption which I have to claim in section 10. I will not claim it. Fine. This story is going on. He can claim 1 year, he cannot claim another year. He cannot claim 1 year, he can claim another year, and so on. Now, on the contrary, Mr. Y, who is a businessman, 2021 May the scheme came, previous year 2021. He said, I am running a business, small business here, trading ka, no major manufacturing additional depreciations, no 3580, no scientific research. So let's claim this. Now, once he has claimed this and opted in the scheme, this will go on for the subsequent years. So you will say, ma'am, ये तो गलत है. अब कल को वो house ले, उसको interest on loan claim करना, what will happen? ठीक है, now suppose 22-23 में he purchased the house and he want to claim interest on loan. He said, okay. Or let's don't give an house example. Suppose he paid a huge premium for LIC single premium policy में, and he want to claim that 1,50,000 ka benefit. So he said, okay, I will not claim 115 BAC this year. Okay, up 24-25 में he cannot come back. Once opted out, he will not be allowed the benefit in the subsequent years. I missed one more. Sorry. So now if he wants to come back in 23-24 or 24-25, he cannot. He cannot. But either be equal catcher. Suppose 25-26 May, he shut down his business. Now he no more has any business income. Now he started a job. Then he can come back. Because now he would be a person of this category, person not having business and profession. And for a person not having business and profession can opt in, opt out in any year. The 25-26 May, now he can come back and take the benefit of the scheme. And 26-27 May, again he can opt out. Then 27-28 May, again he can come back. Now, so here can I conclude for a business or a profession person, once he opts into the scheme, then he or she is bound for this scheme for the lifetime. But if he opt out, he cannot opt in again. But he can opt in again if there is no more business, because then in that case he would become in the category of Mr. X. Clear? ये वाला पॉइंट समझ आया? ऑप्ट इन आउट ऑप्ट आउट का अभी भी स्टिल वी हैव फ्यू थिंग्स लेफ्ट, बट नाउ यू विल आस्क कि मैम व्हेन द स्कीम हैज टू बी क्लेम्ड. द प्रीवियस ईयर 2021 में the return I will file on 31st July 2021, which will fall in my assessment year 21-22. When I have to claim this, so you have to claim this return, this tax before the return filing. Before the return filing, you have to claim which option you want to exercise. That's it. अभी I will come to more part कि TDS के केस में क्या होगा, salary के केस में क्या होगा. But अभी तक what I have explained, is there any doubt? Utkarsh, this is not for seniors. This is for everyone, resident, non-resident, individuals, HF, irrespective of their age. But they will not get maximum exemption limit higher वाला benefit. उनके लिए भी same slab rates लगेंगे. उनके लिए 3 lakh and 5 lakh से start नहीं होगा. Okay? And Dinesh has a very interesting question. If he wound up first business and started new business, then he can opt for 115 BAC. See, the time is till the time you are having business income, irrespective of whichever business you are having. You cannot opt out and come back again. But the moment you started your job, then you can opt in, opt out anytime you want, or basically in any year you want. I was specifically waiting for one question because I did not touch it. And Uday, thank you for asking it. No one asked me whether rebate would be allowed here and what would happen for surcharge. So now, I said that you have to compare the normal tax regime, say the tax including rebate and surcharge, and you have to compare this tax rate. You don't have to compare the incomes, you have to compare the taxes. Whichever is higher, you will not take that. Whichever is lower, obviously you will take that. So when I'm talking about you have to compare the taxes, I mean including surcharge and cess. Including surcharge and cess, and if there is any rebate, then taking the benefit of it. So rebate को compare करके, surcharge and cess को compare करके, you take the comparison. So rebate is allowed if you have income up to 5 lakh in normal tax regime. Here also same thing will happen. Surcharge would also be applicable. Suppose income as per this regime is coming to more than 1 crore, and other regime may it is less than 1 crore. Why it is coming more than 1 crore? Because यहाँ पे you might have forgone certain benefits. वहाँ पे you might have got certain benefits, but you compare the taxes. So another thing, special rates. वहाँ पे भी special rates are there in normal tax regime. Here also special rates, which we taught you in this particular level, would be applicable, and other than special rates wala income would be taxed as per slab rates. Okay, we will do question, do not worry. ATG deduction also is not allowed, Khojma. Only 80 JJA and your APCCD subsection 2. So if he says, if after winding up the business a person does not go for salary job, then can he opt for tax payment under section 115 BSc? So Priyanka, the point here is that you should not have a business income. You're having any other income, you're not doing salary, no problem. The point is, if you want to opt in, opt out whenever you want, you should not have a business income at all. I'm not talking about losses. I'm not talking about the profits. Any income under the head, and income, say when I talk income include losses also. Any income under the head business income should not be there. Then you can opt in again. See, the point is not that if during the previous year business is shut down, then 115 BSc apply or not. Look, see, you have to clearly understand here that you are taking 115 BSc for so many years. Now, even if during the year the business got shut down, but there is certain business income for 6 months, correct? So you cannot say कि इस साल में मैं नहीं करके next business start करूंगा. You can opt out once. No one is saying you to not opt out. When you are having a business income, आप एक बारी बाहर जा अंदर आए, फिर आप एक ही बारी बाहर जा सकते हो, फिर दोबारा अंदर नहीं आ सकते in that scheme. For other than business, you come in out all the time, no problem. You come in 1 year, you come out another year, no problem. But when you are having a business income, the call is yours. That's why I said that this is a curious case of tax planning. Why? Because यहाँ पे the call is your estimating all the benefits, exemptions, income, type of income you have, and not only for this year but also for future, whether you should claim this or not. And ऐसा नहीं है कि जिस साल ये आया आपको उसी साल claim करना है. No. If you think abhi you have certain responsibilities, you have certain exemptions to claim it. Once that are over, don't claim the exemptions. Once those benefits you have claimed, and next in the future years you think now I don't have additional depreciation, now I don't have interest on loan, now I don't have HRA, then just go for the scheme. It would be a beneficial scheme any given day. Okay, so just see what type of SSCR, what type of option you are saying. 115 BSc opt out कर सकता है the business person, but once he opt out, he cannot come again. Okay. Loss वाला point पे Jyoti, I'll come again because that I only touched. That is a different and important point to explain. That I touched only. I'll come to that. Priyanka, is your query clear? प्रणेव, LIC प्रीमियम फॉरेन में नहीं होता. LIC प्रीमियम, LIC इंडिया का प्रोडक्ट है. आपने लाइफ इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी यहाँ पे लिया है तभी आप ले सकते हैं, वहां की इंश्योरेंस नहीं. So Khojma same, if a person has business income and he opt out once after that, okay, he started a job, so he opted again after that. So he started business, so no, then he cannot opt in again. इतना डेप्थ में मत जाओ, सिंपल सा है. You were having a business income, you opted out, now you cannot come in again. Simple. जिस साल में बिजनेस इनकम है आप क्लेम कर रहे हो तो अब वो हमेशा के लिए क्लेम करो. Once opted out, again you cannot come in. But if you have other than business income, you can come in and out forever. आप एक साल क्लेम करो, दूसरे साल नहीं करो, एक साल क्लेम करो, दूसरे साल नहीं करो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. बिजनेस स्टार्ट किया, सैलरी करा 3 साल, फिर बिजनेस में आ गए, फिर नहीं क्लेम कर सकते. नो. क्या लिखा है रजिस्ट्रेशन 10 का नेम? Pranay, what is written in illustration 10? Mohammed Vora says, मैम section 115 ऐसे में तो amount नहीं होता ना, amount is in We will do the questions also, student. Do not worry. First, let's understand. अच्छा, Canadian citizen वाला. अरे LIC को ही प्रीमियम दिया. I was assuming कि you are saying कि लाइफ इंश्योरेंस कोई बाहर का चल रहा है. यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है ना खानदान. Canadian, वैसे it's a life insurance company which is Indian, but yeah, one second. Life Insurance Corporation of India, it's not written. Any premium paid to insure the life, that is written in ATC, तो हाँ मिल जाएगा. Sorry. So they ask in real life what deductions are mostly taken by assessee. ATC, I think I've seen people consuming the most. Then ATD, very common again. These two, ATTTA, ATTTB if you're a senior citizen, these are some very common which you will find in most of the returns. ATG people also make, because for the past 2, 3, 4 years now, people have started contributing a lot for social causes. Very common. So these house rent, then if you talk about exemption, house rent allowance, I've seen in so many returns, section 10, 14K benefits people don't claim, but they should. Then PGBP, let's do not dug in. It is very subjective. What else? These are the most common things which people see. ATE also, Alok, is common when you are into an education perspective, when you or your kids are learning, are into an education phase, then ATE people claim. You can say it is common because you might be in that age where you are seeing people studying, going abroad, getting their education finance, then you can say, yes, it is important. Very good, Uday. I'll come to the AMT वाला part also. अभी basically अभी तक हमने क्या क्या करे, let's quickly revise. फिर से करते हैं. This scheme is an option for individuals HUF, irrespective of the residency status, irrespective of the age. Here you get more slabs concession or more concession in more slabs form. For every 2,50,000, the rate is increased by 5%. And above 15 lakh, it is 30%. This scheme can be opted in and opted out anytime. Once you opt in a particular year, you can opt out for the other year, and then you can opt in again in the another year. But for a person who are into business and profession, once they opt in, they cannot. This is their option is for the lifetime. In case they opt out in future, they cannot opt in again until and unless they cease to have any business income. But if you are claiming this particular sections, you need to forego certain benefits headwise and total gross total income wise. Headwise, you have to ignore certain salaries, may house property with the major interest or loan. Now, PGBP may especially additional depreciation. Normal depreciation is allowed. Additional depreciation is not allowed. 35 scientific research contributions, in-house research is allowed, okay? Then your 35 AD, these things you have to forego. Basically, what makes a major impact in your profits, you are foregoing it. ATC to AT, you have to forego deduction in family pension, deduction in minor income, deduction of tax holiday for a special economic zone. All of these things have to be foregone if you have to claim the benefit of this particular section. Having said that, rebate is still there, surcharge is still there as per the same rate, cess is still there, special rates for taxation is still there. Okay, now we come to certain important aspect. First of all, when I was telling you about claiming in and claiming out, now यहाँ पे एक बहुत important चीज है. Sorry, which has to be seen is that if you are a salaried employee, okay, if you're a salaried employee, you have to give a declaration or you have to inform your employer at the beginning of the year that I want to opt for 115 BAC. I want to opt for 115 BAC. Why so? Because salary pay, what is the TDS rates? What are the TDS rates on salary? Sorry. Yeah, sorry. So what are the TDS rates? Whatever is your slab rate, average slab rate, whatever comes, that is your TDS rate, correct? So for the employer to know that you have opted for 115 BAC, how will he know? You have to inform him. You have to give the intimation that I have opted for 115 BAC, and this he will give in the starting of the year. Now, next question which will come into your mind, please listen carefully. Now, you say आपने April में उनको बोला कि cut my TDS as per 115 BAC. Now, September में एकदम से your plan changed and you purchased a house. All together your plan changed and you purchased the house. Now you cannot go to your employer again and say कि अब I am opting out. No, he will now deduct the TDS as per 115 BAC only. So you will say कि ma'am, what will happen for the house interest or loan तो शुरू हो गया, वो तो कोई भी benefit लेना चाहेगा, correct? Well, should I have to wait for the next year because this is the story of previous year 2021? Should I wait for the next year to opt out? No. You can opt in for the scheme I said before the filing of return. Employer will keep on deducting under 115 BAC while filing the return. You can change your option. Previous year 2021 की बात कर रही हूँ. While filing the return, you can change your option and file it as per the normal regime. So what did I say? Once the declaration has been given to employer to deduct the TDS as per 115 BAC, he will deduct it for the entire year as per the scheme. But while filing the return or before filing the return, your plan changes and you compare because then you have a better picture of investments and savings and all. And your plan changes and you think that normal tax regime is more beneficial, you can file the tax as per, or you can file the return as per normal tax regime, even if your TDS is deducted as per 115 BAC. So this is another case. This can come as a theory question to you that a so-and-so person had given a declaration to employer, but now he wants to file as per the normal tax regime. Can he do so? Yes, he can do so. Okay. So is this clear? But one very, very important thing, until and unless the employee gives an intimation that 115 BAC has to be opted, only then it has to be opted. If it has no intimation has been from him, no communication has come from him that I want to opt for 115 BAC, No employer will give this benefit automatically. No, they will deduct the TDS as per normal tax regime only. So again, I'm saying once the TDS would be deducted under 115 BSC or as per 115 BSC, not under section 192, only when the intimation is given by the employee. If no intimation has been made, the TDS would be deducted without considering the provision of section 115 BSC. Clear? Now, एक चीज important यहाँ पे ध्यान रखना, for a person for a person having business or profession, he has to exercise the option before the return filing due date, which is under section 139(1), because he has to file a form to claim this 115 BSC. ठीक है, once 1 year जिसमें वो claiming start कर रहे हैं. But for other person, even if they're filing a belated return, that is for non-business or profession, they can claim in the belated return this scheme. But for the business person, if he wants to claim this scheme, he has to file the form 1110IE before the due date. Otherwise, in his belated return, he cannot claim 115 BSC. So business and profession के लिए एक ये और important चीज है which has to be remembered. Okay. This tedious वाला part clear? Clear. Now, all the things which you will read is done here. Do not worry. Everything we have discussed. Next is in case you fail to comply to the conditions which are mentioned in the 115 BSC, what will happen? In the year, if you fail to comply to the condition of 115 BSC, then your tax would be calculated as per the normal tax regime. Okay? And for a person who is having a business and he fails to comply with the conditions of 115 BSC, his tax will be calculated for the normal tax regime for that year also and for the subsequent years also. So this thing you have to remember, that you have to be careful while fulfilling the conditions of 115 BSC. Next question someone asked, and it's very important, about AMT. Alternate minimum tax liability. So alternate minimum tax है, normal tax regime and AMT में हम compare करते हैं, correct? Right? And then we come to the tax liability. Yes, yes. But when you're opting for 115 BSC, अब आपका 115 BSC में न्यू टैक्स regime और AMT को कंपेयर नहीं करना. No. New tax regime, if you're opting, there is no concept of AMT for you. So you will ask, ma'am, AMT credits पड़े हुए हैं तो? So it is always recommended. पुराने AMT credits पड़े हुए हैं because 15 years तक वो carry forward होते हैं, correct? We understood in the previous class. So it is always recommended that if you have AMT credits, try to set it off, and then only opt in for the scheme. Then only opt in for this scheme. पहले अपने AMT credits को set off कर दो and then opt in, because you can opt in anytime, correct? Even if you're having a business or profession, you can opt in anytime, because generally AMT credits business and profession के पास होंगे, because वहाँ पे क्या है 35AD, 10AA and 80 IA and onwards जो business related incomes पे ही generally मिलता है. So opt in only when you have consumed all your AMT credits, or you can opt in when if you see not consuming your AMT credits for a long period, then opt in immediately, and if you do not have other benefits which you can afford to forego. Okay, so AMT concept would not be there for 115 BC. Now you will ask me, मैम हम कैसे कंपेयर करें, नॉर्मल और न्यू को कंपेयर करें, नॉर्मल और AMT और न्यू को कंपेयर करें, कैसे करें? सो कि आपको कौन सा किसमें ऑप्टिंग करना चाहिए या नहीं करना चाहिए. So suppose you generally AMT would come where there is business or profession, because 10AA is export profit, 3580 is again business related, and these are also related to certain income which are your main business generally. So what will happen? What will you do? अब नॉर्मल टैक्स regime and AMT को कंपेयर करिए जो हम लास्ट क्लास तक कर रहे थे, and come to your tax liability. Whichever is higher would be your tax liability here, correct? Then compute your tax and income as per 115 BAC. Then come to your 115 BAC liability. इसमें से whichever is lower, go for that. If 115 BAC is lower, then go for it. If tax liability this is lower, then go for this. So can I say when 115 BAC is into picture, I first have to come to my tax liability as per normal tax regime, considering the impact of AMT if any, and then I have to make a comparison to come to a conclusion which liability has to be taken or not. इसमें से तो higher वाला है, and then I have to compare it here. Generally, if you are a salaried employee, AMT होगा ही नहीं, okay? Then just compare your normal tax regime and new tax regime. Whichever is lower, go for that. So this is how you have to attempt your question. Clear? यहाँ तक किसी को डाउट? Dinesh, I hope this part is clear. Then who asked for AMT before? Uday, is it clear? Perfect. Now, इसमें TDS TCS के credits मिलेंगे, correct? This is 115 BC is your tax liability only. इसके बाद जो स्टेप होता है TDS credits का, TCS credit का, एडवांस टैक्स का, वो सब मिलेगा आपको. अब you will ask कि मैंने एडवांस टैक्स तो assuming 115 BAC करा था, but can I while filing the return opt for 115 BAC? Yes, you can opt for 115 BAC or opt out of 115 BAC. Contrary आप कर सकते हो, but remember there would be repercussions of 234B, 234C, and if any. So just take care of those things also. Okay. Now one more very important point on set offer loss. उसके बाद this would be all clear. So Vedant, I'm saying कि TDS TCS credits आपको मिलेंगे ही मिलेंगे. Once you have come to your tax liability, which is here, generally क्या होता है, आप इस tax liability पे आते हैं, correct? And then you, अगर मैंने आज का क्लास नहीं किया होता, what you would do, this tax liability पे you come, then you claim your TDS TCS credits which are there in your account. 26 days में भी reflect हो रहे होंगे, advance tax which you have paid वो भी reflect हो रहा होगा, correct? You claim that and then you see what is refund and what is payable, right? इसमें भी सेम करेंगे. If you are as per 115 BAC also, that would not be your tax liability. उसमें भी claim TDS, TCS, advance tax, whatever he has paid, and then you would come to your payable and refund. The concept is same. Only thing is the tax liability is changing, whether it is as per normal, whether it is as per AMT, whether it is as per your 115 BSC. TDS, TCS credits सब में मिलेंगे, सब में refund या payable amount आएगा, depending upon the taxes which are there already. ठीक है, एडवांस टैक्स का इंटरेस्ट भी आ सकता है. सो वेन एवर यू आर डूइंग दिस, सो दैट्स व्हाई आई से दिस इज अ वेरी क्रूशियल टैक्स प्लानिंग. यू कैन नॉट जस्ट एडवाइज समवन लाइक दिस, इवन फॉर एडवांस टैक्स पर्पस ऑल्सो एंड अदरवाइज ऑल्सो. नाउ सपोज आपने एडवांस टैक्स अपने नॉर्मल टैक्स के अकॉर्डिंग डिपॉजिट कराया, बट अल्टीमेटली आप लाइबिलिटी पे डिस्पोज ऑफ कर रहे हो एएमटी के अकॉर्डिंग, तो फिर बाबा एडवांस टैक्स का इंटरेस्ट तो आ सकता है, करेक्ट. और सपोज आपने एडवांस टैक्स 115 बीएससी के अकॉर्डिंग डिपॉजिट कराया, बट नाउ व्हाइल फाइलिंग द रिटर्न आप नॉर्मल टैक्स रेजिम ऑप्ट कर रहे हो, बिकॉज आपको आपने बिजनेस स्टार्ट कर लिया एंड यू सी कि नहीं आई हैव टू टेक फ्यू बेनिफिट्स, तो एडवांस टैक्स में तब भी इंटरेस्ट आ सकता है बिकॉज ऑफ द शॉर्टफॉल, राइट. So that you cannot say कि मैंने 115 BAC के अकॉर्डिंग एडवांस टैक्स डिपॉजिट कराया था और नॉर्मल टैक्स रेजिम के अकॉर्डिंग मैं रिटर्न फाइल कर रही हूँ तो एडवांस टैक्स मैंने सही डिपॉजिट कराया है. नो, ultimately your advance tax liability should match your assessed tax liability and that should be deposited in your installments. So be careful while opting for the scheme. I am repeating again and again. Okay, do not be lured by the benefits. Yes, marginal relief would also be available. Surcharge, जहाँ पे बोल दिया surcharge is applicable, तो marginal relief का concept automatically is there. करेक्ट प्रणेव, उनको रिफंड मिलेगा. एम्प्लॉयर ने मेरा 115 बीएससी के अकॉर्डिंग टैक्स काटा, आई जस्ट एक्सप्लेन दिस केस, एंड मैंने नॉर्मल टैक्स रेजिम के अकॉर्डिंग अपना रिटर्न फाइल किया और उसकी वजह से रिफंड आ रहा है तो मिलेगा. टीडीएस टीसीएस क्रेडिट्स आर योर, एडवांस टैक्स क्रेडिट्स आर योर इर्रिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ व्हाटएवर मेथड्स दे हैव कम इनटू. ओके, सो वो तो आपका टैक्स लायबिलिटी है. व्हाट आर टीडीएस टीसीएस, व्हाट आर एडवांस टैक्स? दीज आर द टैक्सेस व्हिच यू डिपॉजिट or are deposited on your behalf. So that would be allowed to you always. And अगर उसकी वजह से रिफंड आ रहा है तो नो प्रॉब्लम. और किसी को कोई भी डाउट? सिर्फ एक कॉन्सेप्ट रह गया कैरी फॉरवर्ड ऑफ लॉसेस का, दैट आई विल एक्सप्लेन कि इसमें क्या है. This is an important scheme to understand. So take your time, go through the point. We will do यहाँ पे questions also. Both the questions which are there in your module, we will do them both the questions. Perfect. So now we move to understand. And I must say, student, one thing, your study material in itself is so good. And if I compare the study material, because I know how much effort ISI is putting into it, but if I compare the study material 10 years back when I'm studying, I also studied from the study material, to be very honest. I'm few of those people who did not refer to certain big names and went blind over it. I also referred study material. Yes, for some context, for sometimes for some simplicity, you refer to other authors also, sometimes for certain clarifications, and you should. That is no harm. But your study material today, they have just revamped it with tables, with flowcharts, with summaries, with the questions, examples, clarification, and they're sticking to the language also, and at the same time they're trying to simplify also. And if you will not put in habit to read your study material, you will never come to a habit to read the bare acts. When you will become professionals after 3 years, 4 years, That is the language which everyone would request from you, or not request, expect from you. So why not start building the habit today? Okay, refer to other books, but I'm telling you, your study material has been simplified and has been modified or revamped to cater your need, with this at the same time sticking to the language which is expected from a professional. Okay, so this was just an plugin which was required to be given into. Now back to the provisions. यहाँ पे, as you can see, there are certain exemptions which are, certain deductions which are not allowed. Okay. Now I'm not a new SSC. 115 BAC came 2 years back, but I'm filing my returns for past 10-15 years, say. So what will happen? I might be having these exemptions, or I might be having these benefits before, right? I might be claiming them. Now suppose I'm a, and especially from a business perspective, if I say I'm a person running a business, okay? I'm into manufacturing. Maybe additional depreciation I would have claimed. Depreciation would also have been claimed, correct? Now, there is already a brought forward loss in previous year 2021. Please listen very, very, very carefully this point. Okay, there is already a brought forward loss in previous year 2021. So when this scheme came in, they disallowed certain exemptions and deductions, right? They disallowed certain exemption and deductions, or they have asked us to forego these exemption and deductions. Now, the moment we are asked to forego these exemption and deduction, that means in that particular year, we cannot claim these exemptions and deductions, right? When we are claiming 115 BAC. Agreed? Yes. So if you are having any brought forward losses which relate to, I'm using the word, which relate to these exemptions and deductions, that would also not be allowed to be carried forward and claimed in the year when I'm opting for 115 BAC. Because it's a common sense ना, जब मैं exemptions and deductions ये वाली allow ही नहीं कर रही, all these exemptions and deductions, when I'm not allowing all these, correct? So why should I allow the losses of that to be set off in the respective year? And this generally, students, would happen in your PGBP scenario, because salary में losses आते नहीं, correct? Other sources में जो disallowance है वो खाली family pension etc की है. ATC to ATU के वजह से आपके कभी brought forward loss होगा नहीं. तो losses किसकी वजह से होंगे? Generally brought forwarded जो होंगे अगर आप opt कर रहे हो 32, 35 and most importantly 35 AD की वजह से, correct? Common sense, yes. 32, 35, 35 AD. I'll repeat it in English. Generally brought forward losses, when I'm saying, would only come because of these deductions which are there in your, generally brought forward losses would come in your business income only, and brought forward losses pertaining to these sections cannot be carried forward. I'm not saying all the brought forward losses cannot be carried forward. Your genuine business losses can be carried forward, but if that losses have elements coming from these, कि capital expenditure आपने 35 AD का claim किया, उसकी वजह से brought forward losses is coming, then you have to forego that capital expenditure. You cannot carry it forward for the future year. Depreciation की वजह से brought forward loss है, no problem. But additional depreciation की वजह से brought forward loss है, then you have to leave that also when you have to claim 115 BAC. So brought forward losses are allowed to be set off, but losses which are pertaining to or relating to these particular deductions which are not allowed or which are to be foregone for claiming 115 BC, तो उनके पुराने brought forward losses would also not be allowed. एस्पेक्ट क्लियर हुआ? सो फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अब वो अलाउ नहीं हुए तो कहीं तो यू मस्ट गेट द बेनिफिट, इन द सेंस depreciation is what? Depreciation is reduction in your written down value. When you're claiming the depreciation, the written down value gets reduces. Then next year, obviously on that written down value, you get the depreciation, right? You're agreeing on this with me? Now suppose I am Mr. Joy. Mr. Joy, previous year 2021 May, wants to claim 115 BAC. But he has a depreciation which is being carry forwarded. Out of this depreciation, 5 crore depreciation is the normal depreciation and 0.5 crore is additional depreciation. Okay. Now, previous year 2021 May, he makes a decision that I have to opt for 115 BAC. So I told you what? I told you that if you're opting for 115 BAC, then whatever deductions are not allowed, uski brought forward losses would also not be allowed to be set off and carry forwarded. So as per that logic, you cannot carry forward 0.5 crore. 5 crore depreciation can be adjusted, right? Now this 0.5 crore is lapsed. Because one opt-in, I have to opt it for lifetime as per the law. So this 0.5 crore is lapsed. अब लैप्स तो हुआ, बट इसका एक इम्पैक्ट और आएगा. रिटन डाउन वैल्यू वुड बी इंक्रीज्ड बाय द सेम अमाउंट, would be increased by the same amount, because this depreciation was a reduction of the written down value, right? But now when I'm letting it go, I have to increase my written down value, and now going forward on the increased written down value, the depreciation would be charged. So if I'm reversing it off or I'm foregoing it, then I have to increase, obviously take the impact in the written down value also. So now if I read this, I can relate. Let us consider the case of Mr. X, who carries a business of manufacturing of steel. He has unabsorbed depreciation as on 1st April 2020, which includes amount attributable to additional depreciation under section 32(1)(2)(a) of previous year 1920 or any earlier previous year in respect of block of plant and machinery. If he exercises the option under section 115 BAC for previous year 2021, relevant to the so-and-so assessment year, the amount so attributable to additional depreciation of earlier years remaining unabsorbed as on 1st April 2020 would not be eligible for set off against current income. Agreed? ये तो impact हो गया, which you understood. Accordingly, the WDV of the block as on 1st April 2020 has to be increased by the said amount, not allowed to be set off. So I hope with that example of 5 and 0.5 crore, this particular thing is clear. In case it is not, please tell me, I'll do it again. Ganesh, correct. What about house property loss? Yes, house property loss अगर आपका आ रहा है तो interest की वजह से generally house property loss comes. Municipal tax के केस में बहुत particular situations में होगा. Please, let's do not start that debate. Interest की वजह से generally house property losses come, then you cannot carry forward it. Simple. फिर वो वैल्यू प्रणय जिस ईयर में यू आर गिविंग अप योर लॉसेस, उस साल की WDV ओपनिंग बढ़ेगी. इन द ईयर व्हेन यू आर गिविंग अप द लॉसेस, उसका ओपनिंग WDV वुड बी इंक्रीज्ड. सो 2020 1st April 2020 के लिए वो 0.5 करोड़ से बढ़ जाएगा ओपनिंग वैल्यू. You don't have to reverse any depreciation entry. See, your books of accounts are different. Your income tax act is different. Income tax where you're not making any entries. You're making the impact of transactions. Okay. So that usme you don't have to touch your books of accounts. I'm saying again and again. आपका depreciation chart जो income tax के लिए जाता है, that would be revamped. And there is a clear logic behind of it. No? My WDV is reduced because of depreciation, but if I'm not getting the depreciation to be carry forwarded, so WDV should be increased. So Vedant, here, आप इस बात से agree करते हैं कि certain deductions will not be allowed, correct? And one such deduction is which would not be allowed is additional depreciation or 3580. Both के case में this would be applicable. So suppose additional depreciation is not, obviously you had additional depreciation, but now if you want to opt for 115 BSc, you cannot opt for additional depreciation. Agreed, right? Also at the same time, if you have any brought forward losses, any losses which you are carrying it forward to this year, जिसमें additional depreciation की वजह से loss है, that should also not be allowed. That should also not be allowed. अगर मेरे को वो डिडक्शन ही नहीं अलाउ हो रहा तो उसका पुराने लॉसेस भी अलाउ नहीं होने चाहिए, करेक्ट? सो दे से कि आप ब्रॉड फॉरवर्ड लॉस लेके आओ, आप नॉर्मल लॉस को कैरी फॉरवर्ड करो, उसको एडजस्ट करो, नो प्रॉब्लम. बट अगर उन लॉसेस में देयर इज एन इम्पैक्ट ऑफ डिडक्शंस व्हिच हैव बीन नॉट अलाउड, व्हिच विल नॉट बी अलाउड अंडर 115 BAC, उनको आप नहीं क्लेम कर सकते. सो जस्ट आई गिव एन एग्जांपल ऑफ मिस्टर जॉय who was thinking on 1st April 2020 to opt for 115 BAC. But then he saw he has a carry forward depreciation of 5.5 CR. Now in this 5.5 CR, 5 crore is normal depreciation and 0.5 crore is additional depreciation. Now since from previous year 2021, he would not be allowed additional depreciation because he is claiming 115 BAC. This loss which is being carried forwarded and brought forwarded to 2021 में ये जो 0.5 crore है, that should also not be allowed. That should also not be allowed. ठीक है, certain losses will not be allowed to be set off and carry forward. तो ये 0.5 crore नहीं मिलेगा. So when in previous year 2021, if he has any business income, he can set off a loss up to 5 crores, not 0.5 crores. Okay. So he can set it off to 5 crore because that would be his brought forward limit. 0.5 crore को उसको lapse करना पड़ेगा, forgo करना पड़ेगा, right? But the moment उसने additional depreciation forgo करा, additional depreciation is a result of reduction in WDV. When you are foregoing this additional depreciation, remember that जो आपने WDV से reduce करा था उसको increase कर दो, because no more this benefit is allowed. So WDV को बढ़ा दो so that now on the actual WDV you can claim the impact of depreciation. Okay, clear? Golti, I try to speak in English, but sometimes the queries which are in Hindi, I try to answer them so that they can relate. Okay. Pranav has very interesting question. Depreciation के केस में yes, WDV would be increased, but when you have interest on loan का loss, उस केस में that would be just lapsed. There is no WDV which is getting impacted. The point here is that you have to remember the losses would not be allowed, and if there is any impact on the WDV which has to be taken care of, you take care of. Okay. Goldie, is there anything which I should explain again in English? So now anyone has 115 BAC, say any doubt, quickly go through 8.18, 8.19, 8.20, 21, 22, 23. कोई भी point, is there any point you want me to repeat? Golti Anil, anything I can help on again? Vedant, Pranev, Kavita, all of you, Priyanka. So Vedant asked, ma'am, motor car. Sorry, not Vedant. Oh, sorry. Mr. Khojma asked, motor car perquisite or any other perquisite is allowed in 115 PAC. First of all, perquisites are not allowance. These are your valuation. इसकी वजह से the income increases, because of them the income increases. These are not something which is an allowance in your income. And when I say for the income something is an allowance, there might be a scope of exemption on it. So perquisites are valuations. They would be taken as you take them. Okay. So please do not use the word perquisite allowed. Okay. Foregoing or lapsing, matlab foregoing yani you have to give up that benefit. So जो 0.5 crore का depreciation which otherwise you would have carry forwarded and set off from your business incomes, now you cannot set it off. So you cannot set it off. You are giving up that impact. Give up. At the same time, increase your WDV, Baba, because that would be a loss situation to you in case you're giving up the depreciation also and you're not increasing the WDV also. If you're not getting the benefit of that depreciation, then why reduce your WDV and in future you claim the lower depreciation? No. Increase the WDV, because now the impact of that depreciation is not there on your WDV. So increase the WDV at the same time. So I'm assuming no one has any other doubt. We'll take a break here after 5-10 minutes. Correct. After 5-10 minutes, we'll be back. In case you still have any queries, we will be very happy discussing it. And now we'll do questions in relation to the practical aspect of 115 PAC. 0.5 crores to 50 lakhs भी बोल सकते हैं. Correct. स्पेक्यूलेशन बिजनेस क्या प्रॉब्लम है कोचमा? स्पेक्यूलेशन बिजनेस उसमें इशू क्या है? स्पेक्यूलेशन बिजनेस तो आपका इनकम है, यू शो इट, लॉसेस उसको कैरी फॉरवर्ड करो, नो प्रॉब्लम. Only the deductions or exemptions which are allowed as or which are not allowed as per 115 BAC would not to be taken care of, should not be taken, and at the same time unki losses should not be carried forwarded and adjusted in the year when you're claiming 115 BAC. So thank you. We'll be back after a short break. Come back after the break, everyone. I hope there are no doubts in relation to 115 BAC except few which I've received. Before Vedant has asked one question. Why, if we are foregoing the depreciation, first of all, you're not foregoing all the depreciation. You are only foregoing your additional depreciation, first of all. ठीक है, additional depreciation का losses which you are foregoing, which were otherwise allowed to be set off this year. Then next question here, why are we increasing the WDV? Because if we deduct depreciation, to a real WDV. You are यहाँ पे now wrong. WDV is written down value. Okay. The more the written down value, the more would be your depreciation, right? Do you agree on this? And every person tried to inflate the cost of the asset so that the written down value should ultimately be higher and the depreciations are higher in the coming years. So this is a logical thing. If us WDV ka depreciation is nothing but a part of the value which is written down, right? If that WDV ka written down value is not allowed to me, it should be added back in the written down value so that at least in the future years, because of the course of the business, during the course of the business, on that higher written down value, at least I can claim a normal depreciation, which otherwise would have been allowed. And obviously, it would be a better situation for me than claiming depreciation on a reduced written down value from which already additional depreciation is also reduced and which I'm not getting the benefit of. So think from that perspective. Okay. I hope it would be clear now. Alok, in that case, it would be your other sources. So someone asked me, ma'am, why PG business income wali people pay? There are so many restrictions of opting in and opting out. Why they are not allowed to opt in or opt out anytime they want or in any year they want? Does anyone would like to give an answer on it? Just try to connect. Why are they not allowed seeing the deductions which are not allowed? Think why there is a restriction on them. Okay, because of new startups every day. Okay. So why there's a restriction on them, I'll tell you. Now suppose I start a business today, okay, 35 AD ka, I make a capital expenditure that I claimed this year. Then next year, because generally क्या है business के case में 35 AD है additional depreciation and these are only allowed for 1 year only. Additional depreciation, today I purchase an asset, I claim additional depreciation, then I opt out from the scheme. Today I purchase an asset, I claim additional depreciation. I have not claimed 115 BC. Now next year I opt in for the scheme. I go as per the law. Then next year I opt out and then I claim additional depreciation again. So that is like leveraging your tax planning to a great extent to exploit the benefits which are given to you. So that's why for PGBP people, the scheme is just made as one-time entry. So most of you were close, absolutely right. And it's very good to think of such as concept why the government is not allowed, because government will not do anything without logics. Okay. Clear? Sure. So questions kare. I hope everyone was waiting for that. Question number 2. Now, first of all, how would you judge that आपको 115 BAC has to be computed or not? Sorry, not question 2. Which one is yours? Question 3. Sorry. Everyone, page to 8.38, please. Not 8.36. So Purvi, age 55 years, is a chartered accountant. In practice, she maintains her accounts on cash basis. Okay. Her income and expenditure account for the year ended March 21-3 is given as below. Okay. Income and expenditure ho, P&L ho is one and the same thing. Now, यहाँ पे some very interesting, let's say, expenditures are salaries, stipend, incentives, office rent, printing and stationery, meeting, seminar, conference, purchase of car. So car ko bhi she has written in your expenditure, but for its official use, no problem. Repair, maintenance, petrol for car, traveling expenses, fine. Municipal taxes paid in respect of house property. Net profit, okay. Fees on audit, taxation, consultancy, purely business, dividend, okay. The sources. Income from UTI, सबके पास है बाबा. Honorarium received from various institutions for valuation of answers and newspaper. अब ये वाला, where would you put honorarium? In business or in other sources? It's related to your business, so you can put it in your business. If you want to put it in your other sources, just give a clear thing. Rent received from residential let out. This is also house property. Okay. Few adjustments. Allowable rate for motor car, fine. Value benefits received from client during the course of profession, 10,500. This is value. ये यहाँ क्योंकि ये cash basis पे she is maintaining, she might have not included here. Okay. Incentives to article assistant represent amount paid to 2 article assistants for passing IPCC examination at first attempt. Cool, no problem. Repair and maintenance of car include 2,000 for period from 1st 10/2022 to 30th September 2023. Okay, but she's doing on cash basis. Okay. Salary includes 30,000 to computer specialist in cash for assisting to Purvi in one professional assignment. क्या hit हो रहा है यहाँ पे? 48.3, correct. The traveling expense include expenditure incurred on foreign tour of 32,000, which was within the RBI norms. Medical insurance premium on health and dependent brother, major son, dependent on amounts to 5,000 and 10,000 respectively, paid in cash. Okay. She invested an amount of 10,000 in NSC. She has paid 70,000 towards advanced tax during the previous year. Now compute the total income and tax payable of Ms. Purvi for assessment year 23-24. Abhi tak, if you have done your homework, in every question it was written, ignore the provision of 115 BSc, assume the person has not opted for 115 BSc. Something like this has always been written. If it is not written, and the question weightage is high, obviously it will be, you have to compute the tax liability as per normal regime, as per 115 BSc, and then make a comparison. You cannot just do the question here and it's it over. No. Until and unless it is mentioned to be ignored, ignore it. Or if the question is of a small value for 3-4 marks or up to 5 marks, a question is coming of computing tax liability with adjustments and stuff, then you write, we assume that the person has not opted for 115 BSc. Then you do it only as per one thing. But if the question is of high value and 115 BSc, clearly nothing has been mentioned, then you have to compute the tax liability as per both the provisions, compare it and give your result. Similarly, AMT के लिए computation would not be written. When there is 3580, when there is 10AA, when there is heading C ka, chapter 6A ka, any deductions, you have to automatically compute AMT. So these are your checkpoints first. Now, when you must have seen one thing I'm saying again and again, I never jumped to solving question by reading just the income expenditure. No, I give 1 minute to do it, to read the adjustment, to mark the few points which has to be taken care of, and then do it systematically by putting the ticks to it. Because paper may pressure itna hota hai students that there is a tendency to skip certain things. There's a tendency, oh, this point was not seen. And because of that one thing, you have 16 minutes, or 16 marks questions, or 12 marks questions, or 8 mark questions, just go away like that. Okay. So this is again very important while you're attempting your questions. Also, please do not forget to write this. You think this is not important? No. Your paper should tell what are you computing. You're computing total income and tax for Purvi for assessment year 34 as per regular provisions, normal tax provision, anything you can write, it would be acceptable. Shall we proceed? Now quickly, let's start matching income from house property. Take 1 minute and quick, abhi mat banao format. Just quickly tell me what would be the income from house property. Salaries hai nahi. So first head which we'll start with is house property. No, in this question, you will not take exemption and 115 BAC is not opted, okay? बड़ा क्वेश्चन है, एडजस्टमेंट वाला क्वेश्चन है, दोनों से ही करना है, ओके दिनेश? रेंट रिसीव कितना है? 85 600. म्यूनिसिपल टैक्सेस गिवन है 3000. क्लियर? ठीक है. टोटल आया 82,600. 82,600. देयर इज नो पार्ट ऑन इंटरेस्ट ऑन लोन. 30% माइनस करा. Quickly, you will get your house property income as 57,820. I hope everyone has matched. Quickly. Now let's go to business and profession. Now this would be very, very interesting. Business and profession mein net profit kitna aa raha hai? 9,28,224. Let's first reduce the income which are not to be considered. Dividend 10,524 taken. 7,600 reduce. Honorarium 15,800 आप यहाँ से reduce कर सकते हो. Other sources में please then show it. Okay, ध्यान से please remember to show it in your other sources. Then where is it? Yeah, rent receive also will have to be reduced to 85,600. किसी को कोई doubt? Clear. Then honorarium other sources में इसलिए show कर आप frequency पे कह सकते हो कि we are assuming that the person would do it only once in a thing. It's not a regular task. Then you will go to other sources. If it's related just because he is a CA and has to be taken in business, then you can take it in business. Better approach is to take it in other sources. Okay. Because of her profession of being a chartered accountant, she's invited. You can give an expression of both the things. That would be okay, but preferably honorarium should go in other sources. Why? It is not regular income. It is not a business, but you can take it into business by saying that, yeah, it is a profession because of which she's being invited and she might be invited on regular basis. And then you can take it in your PGBP. Impact rather इतना major नहीं आएगा. Okay, कोई impact आएगा नहीं rather than on income. Clear? So these are reduced. Now coming to the things which has to be added back. यहाँ पे आ जाते हैं परचेज ऑफ कार एडेड बैक, देन म्युनिसिपल टैक्स एड बैक, दो इम्पैक्ट्स आ गए इनके, परफेक्ट. देन व्हाट वाज अदर थिंग्स, 30,000 का disallowance under 40A3. Let's take the adjustments now. Okay. स्टेप बाय स्टेप चलते हैं. अलाउबल रेट ऑफ डेप्रिसिएशन ऑफ मोटर कार इज 15%. मोटर कार को हमने एड बैक करा, बट उसका डेप्रिसिएशन एट द सेम टाइम हैज टू बी रिड्यूस 15% ऑफ हाउ मच, 80,000. क्विकली गाइस, साथ साथ 12,000, राइट? नाउ यू विल से मैम पुट टू यूज और परचेज का कुछ नहीं लिखा हुआ, तो हम डायरेक्ट 15% करो, नो प्रॉब्लम. सिंस नो इन्फॉर्मेशन इज गिवन फॉर एक्विजिशन एंड पुट टू यूज, claim full 15%, no problem, but do not forget to give the assumption of it. You want to get full marks, give the assumption that it is being assumed that the person has acquired and put to use it for more than 180 days, and hence 15% depreciation is charged. Do not forget to write it, okay? Then incentives आपने दी अपने आर्टिकल असिस्टेंट्स को, नो प्रॉब्लम, यू कैन गिव डिडक्टेबल. रिपेयर एंड मेंटेनेंस कैश बेसिस पे है तो अलाउड होगा, नो प्रॉब्लम. मर्केंटाइल पे होता है तो अलाउड नहीं होता. कैश बेसिस पे वट एवर एक्सपेंडिचर्स यू आर डूइंग वुड बी अलाउड. 30,000 टू कंप्यूटर स्पेशलिस्ट, इसको डिसअलाउ कर देंगे अंडर सेक्शन 40A3. एक मिस हो गया मुझसे. वैल्यू ऑफ बेनिफिट्स रिसीव्ड फ्रॉम क्लाइंट्स ड्यूरिंग द कोर्स ऑफ प्रोफेशन, दिस इज Section 28K according. If you are receiving any benefits in relation to the or due to the business you are running or due to the profession you are into, that is your business income, right? So these are your perquisites of business and should be added. So this is again your business income. Traveling expenses is as per RBI norm, so no impact. किसी को कोई doubt यहाँ पे? Sure. मैच हो गया, perfect. All of these things will revise your all the heads and you will not get to know. Now come to other sources. Other sources में क्या क्या जाएगा? Dividend full 10,524, then income from UTI full 7,600, honorarium 15,800, perfect. Then my total income from house property, PGBP and capital gain, sorry, not capital gain, other sources comes to 10,11,944. Now for the deductions. Now deductions, it is written here that premium is paid for health of brother. First of all, brother is not eligible for 80D, even though he is dependent or not dependent. Only father and mother, parent section में, and your family section में, spouse and children. Premium which are paid of 5,000, again it is being made in cash, ATC may not allowed. Premium, sorry, medical premium not allowed. Everything should be in non-cash. National savings certificate 10,000 direct मिल जाएगा ATC में. So this is impact taken, this impact taken. Other things, traveling expenses done, salary done, repairs done, incentives done, value done, allowable rates done. All of things is done. Now I have to compute the tax liability. Simple 10,01,944 pay. AMT आएगा नहीं because those particular sections are not there. I compute the tax liability. Add says total tax liability comes. Advance tax which has been paid 70,000 would be reduced, and yeah, this is very interesting. TDS. When something is written gross, and even if the person is doing it on the cash basis, still they've written the gross amount. That means there can be a tedious deduction which has happened. यहाँ पे कहीं और कहीं नहीं लिखा हुआ ना, dividend, yeah. And obviously these are coming from UTI, from Indian company, where there is zero to no chance of, or very less to no chance of no tedious deduction, right? So definitely there has been a tedious deduction on this dividend. Kitna? 10%. And on UTI, kitna? 10%. So uska bhi give the credit. This was very important. In fact, I also forgot to take it when I matched the answer. It was not taken. Okay, so 194K, 194, give the benefits. This is your tax liability. The question asked about tax payable. If I have asked about tax liability, you would have stopped here. But since it is asking about the tax payable, you have to go it till here. Rounding out happens after the tax payable amount comes. So 45793. But since it is 5 still less, it would be rounded off to the previous 10 digit. Okay, do not forget to round it off because half to 1 mark is of this rounding off also. 115 DAC तो भी किया नहीं, but इसमें किसी को कोई doubt? Perfect. सबका मैच हो गया सारी चीजें. Now quickly let's see 115 BAC में क्या things would not be considered. Whatever things would not be considered. Is there any difference of any adjustments which were made? I don't think so, because we have not taken 24B, we have not taken additional depreciations, we have not taken any other thing. But one major difference would be on the, so gross total income would be same, but total income would not be same because 80C would not be allowed. So the total income for the purpose of 115 BAC would be 10,11944. So my gross total income would be my total income here. Is pay now compute the tax, and you will now see, okay, because of these small slabs, what the benefit is. Tax liability is coming to 80,484. Quickly compute whether you are getting the tax liability or not. And these provisions, as you see, remains unchanged. Someone has also asked me TDS, advanced tax, iska kuch impact? No. Tax liability differs AMT mein, normal mein, new tax regime mein, but these would be the same. So you see close to 40,000 ka benefit is something which you are getting in tax because of new tax regime. But since she is having a business income, she has to, or is into profession basically, she has to be careful for opting in. Matched? Simple question. Perfect. Very good. Why tedious deduction is not added while computing taxable income? Because even if she's doing on cash basis, but on the question it is clearly written gross. In the book, it's written gross amount. Net amount likha hota, so you would have added TDS and then you have moved forward. Very good, Pius. So I hope everyone's answer is matched. Now we'll do a more typical question whereby more understanding of our 115 BAC would be required. Everyone, I hope सबके answer match हो गए. Shall we move forward? Surcharge, no problem. Take your time. Manisha Ben, surcharge could come when same, अगर 50 lakhs के above हुआ, तब only surcharge would come both in 115 BSc and normal regime same. Shall I proceed? सबके आंसर मैच हो गए. टैक्स मैच हो गया. Sure. So now to question 7. This would actually be a more typical question whereby you can understand 115 BSc properly. From the following details, compute the income. Compute the total income and tax liability of Siddhant, age 31 years. Fine. In case age is not mentioned, always assume the person is less than 60 years of age and is not a senior citizen. Okay. Age 31 years of daily, both as per regular provisions of the income tax and as per 115 BSc. So you have to compute. दोनों करके दिखाने. This should be also part of your answer. Then advice should also be a part of your answer. Advise Mr. Siddhant whether he would opt for section 115 BSc or not. दोनों करके please question मत छोड़ देना. Please, since it's written, advise him. You have to give your conclusion also. What should he opt? Okay. Salary including dearness allowance, bonus. Okay, salary of servant provided by employer, fine. Rent paid by Siddhant for his accommodation. Bill paid by employer for gas, electricity and water provided free of cost. This is his salary details. Siddhant purchased a flat in a cooperative housing society for 4,75,000 in April 2015, which was financed by a loan from LIC of rupees 1,60,000 at 15% interest. His own saving was 65,000 and a deposit of nationalized bank for 2,50,000, to whom this flat was given on lease for 10 years. Okay. The rent payable by the bank was rupees 3,500 per month. The following particulars are relevant. Municipal taxes paid by Mr. Siddhant, okay, 4,300 per annum. House insurance, not to be considered. He earned 2,700 in share speculation business and lost 4,200 in cotton speculation business. Very interesting. In the year 1617, he had gifted 30,000 to his wife and 20,000 to his son. The gift amounts were advanced to Mr. Rajesh, who was paying interest at 19% per annum. Very good. Siddharth received a gift of 30,000 each from 4 friends. He contributed 50,000 to PPF. Very smart. Okay. Now, this is a very, very typical question. First of all, mark the things which you have to take care of quickly. पढ़ लिया guys? Okay, now let's do it together. First of all, ये सब salary will go. First of all, let's compute salary income. Salary income 335, add 11,000, add salary of servant provided by employer 12,000. Okay. Rent paid by Siddharth for his accommodation. Since there is no HRA, I cannot consider this in salary. And also he has his Delhi house, so this will not even be considered under 80GG. कहीं पे भी consider नहीं होगा. Okay. Then 11,000 paid by employer for gas, electricity, free of cost at the above flat. Again, a perquisite. So this would be your perquisites. This is your bonus. 23,000 plus 11,000, 4 and 30, 335. Okay. So 369,000 is my gross salary. Less 50,000 standard deduction. 319. Okay. I hope everyone's answer on salary is matched. Now let's do house property. Business तो बाद में आते पहले house property. Now house property में what all we have to consider? He's receiving a rent of 3,500 per month. No other information is given. So we will assume कि 3,500 into 12, 42,000 is my gross annual value. I'm writing this particular question because this question has to be taken care of. Okay. Then guys साथ साथ करना और in fact मेरे से पहले करना. Less municipal taxes 4,300 minus 37,700, 30% standard deduction. 37,700 का 30%. Sorry. 11,310 less. Now is the interesting thing coming up. Interest on loan. Interest on loan कितना है? 1,60,000 पे. Guys, साथ साथ interest on loan. One second. एक गलती हो रही है यहाँ पे. Let it be. Okay. 1,60,000 का 15%. 24,000 सबका आ गया. Sorry. My bad. So total your income from house property comes to, reduce it, 2,390. Now house property done. Now let's come to business income. Sorry. Business income clear है. Speculation business है. 2,700 income है. Cotton है 4,200 का. तो लॉस 2,700 तक सेट ऑफ होगा. बाकी जो आपका 1,500 का लॉस है that would be carry forward. So nil business income. Then now other sources. Other sources again very interesting. First of all, यहाँ पे तो कुछ नहीं है. हाँ, पहले गिफ्ट ले लेते हैं. 30,000 received from 4 friends. 1,20,000. Then okay, He had gifted 30,000 to his wife and 20,000 to his son, who was age 11. The gifted amounts were advanced to Mr. Rajesh, who was paying interest to 19%. So this is a pure case of clubbing कि आपने wife को दिया, wife ने आगे कर दिया, तो उससे whatever interest is coming would be clubbed in your hand. 30,000 का 19%, 5,700 wife's income. 20,000 का 19%, 3,800 son's income, which has to be clubbed, but 3,800 less 1,500, which is an exemption allowed. So total 2,300 would be clubbed. 23 plus 57 plus 120. 128. So my total income is coming to 128, 319 and 2390. Plus 319. 449, 390. Okay. Now quickly, I have to see this is already in tens, so I don't have to round it off. Okay. Now I have to compute the tax. Before computing the tax, sorry, this is gross total income. I have to reduce my provident fund from here. Total income comes to 399, 390. Isme obviously whatever tax will come, there would be a rebate and the tax would be nil. यहाँ तक किसी को doubt? Now quickly compute for 115 BAC. What all has to be removed? Quickly just come to that. Student, just one thing here, which I did not highlight. Interest on loan house property में self-occupied wala is not allowed for 115 BAC. Otherwise wala would be allowed. If it's a rented accommodation, it would be allowed. Okay. So one thing which was somehow missed, okay, I did not highlight it. So self-occupied wala would be not allowed. Interest on loan. For a rented accommodation, it would be allowed. Rebate वाला point समझ में आया? Rebate Kavita, rebate is income tax rebate which you get. यहाँ पे आपने you computed your gross total income, you came to your tax net total income or your total income, which is 3,99,390. Since the person has a gross total income of less than 5 lakh, you will compute, you do compute your tax liability, it would come to somewhere around 7,000. 470. ठीक है, as per slab base. Now since the income is less than 5 lakh, you will reduce the rebate, and hence it would be nil. Now what would not be allowed when you're doing 115 BAC? 50,000 standard deduction. House property mein, is there any difference? House property mein? No. Everything is allowed. Had this been a self-occupied property, then 24,000 would not have been allowed. Okay, so house property untouched. Business income mein anything? No. Business income maybe everything would be same as per 115 BAC and as per normal regime. Other sources mein, this 1500 would not be allowed because exemption for minor clubbing not allowed. And this 50,000 ka 80C would not be allowed. So basically, can I say 50 plus 50, 1 lakh, 1 lakh plus 1500, 1 lakh 1000, 1 lakh 1500 से आपका income बढ़ जाएगा for 115 BC. Can I just simply conclude this? Yes. House insurance को कुछ नहीं करना guys. कोई doubt था इस पे? ठीक है. So can I simply conclude this? So my total income would now come to from 399,390, 1 lakh 1,500, 1 lakh 1,500. This would come to sorry, not 399. ये तो मैंने आंसर लिख दिया. $449,390 plus 1 lakh 1,500. 449 ही है ना? 449,390 plus 1 lakh 1,500, 550 आता है. तो मैच क्यों हो रहा है यहाँ पे? अच्छा मैच करते हैं. स्टैंडर्ड डिडक्शन ऐड कर दिया. What am I doing? Sometimes the brain gets stuck so much. 55008906. See, I did the stupidity. 449,390 में 1 lakh 1,500 करोगे नहीं तो 449,390 if you're doing, then just add back 50,000 plus 1,500. If you're taking as 399,390, then add back 1 lakh 1,500. Sometimes your mind just finger up. Sorry. Now, इस पे tax would come, but there would be no rebate. Why? Because by 890 rupees, the income is crossing the 5 lakh. So उसी वजह से you will see there would be a tax liability. And when you're taking normal tax regime, there is no tax liability. So it's better that this person do not opt for 115 BC. So Khujma, I just said, when you're talking about interest on loan, that is only for self-occupied property. Other interest on loan, if you're having a let out property or even a deemed let out property, it would be allowed. No, Uday, 70,000 not in respect of gift. Whenever the limit crosses 50,000, the entire gift is taxable. Sorry, my mind got stuck there. वहाँ पे. Alok says, when we are solving an exam, calculating 115, then can we write directly amounts of income from different heads income? Yes, you can. You can do this, but just जैसे मैंने overconfidence में I went all smart. मैंने highlights तो कर लिया, but I was picking. पहले I was picking the right amount, then I picked up this amount. वो मत करना. You can show the add back impact also. Instead of computing 115 BSC सारे heads, you can take either gross total income or your total income and add back the things which are not allowed as per 115 BSC. That would be a quick thing to do, but उसमें over smart जैसे मैं करके ये गलती कर रही थी, don't do that mistake, okay? Write that advice clearly that don't opt for 115 BSC. Any other query from 115 BSC, from AMT, from this chapter first, and then any other query you would like to take from other chapter? So previous year question papers, if I talk about tax liability as such, just if you're practicing the tax amount, there is no such change from the previous year. But yeah, certain provisions, sometimes especially when it comes to surcharge of long-term capital gain, section 112 surcharge has been come from this place. The capping on the surcharge has come from this year itself. Earlier, surcharge 112 पे there was no capping, 112A पे there was capping. So now the surcharge pay 112 is also capping. So just that things you have to remember. So whenever you're doing the preparation for exams and you need more questions, first do all your questions which are given in your study material, then do questions of current year MTPs, which is applicable to your assessment year, RTPs applicable to your assessment year. And if you have that time to see जिसमें amendment नहीं आई है, वो same questions if you can pick that questions and then you can do it. But first focus should be on the current year modules and current year RTPs, MTPs. Okay. So your would be the first, May 23 would be the first attempt in which Finance Act 2022 would be coming. So I cannot say you to do the previous year part also. Okay, so some tips for income tax paper. First of all, general tips for all your exams. Always do not go up with a panic mind. I am sure it's very easy to say than to do, but have been there, done that. If I go with panic mind, even if the things I know, I would not be able to be confident on the preparation you have done. And you would be confident only when you have done that thing inside and out. When I say inside and out, I mean that even if you have done 8 out of 10 topics, but you know 8 topics well enough to beat half knowledge of anyone who has on all the 10 topics. Okay, so just be that confident. I'm not saying you to just cover 1 topic out of 10. No, I'm saying कि एक रह जाता है तो don't panic. But 8 या 9 आप अच्छे से करो. If you do 8 and 9 अच्छे से, it would be very good. It would be very, very, very good. And then someone who is doing the topics in half preparations. When you're doing a topic, prepare self notes. There are notes available in the market. There are notes which we as faculty would also provide. But Nothing would beat your own handwritten notes or your own preparation, which you know that how I have to carry it out. Secondly, always mark the red flags for each section. Red flags mean that this thing has to be taken care of when I'm doing this. When I'm doing PGBP ka question and there is manufacturing, I have to take care of additional depreciation. When I am doing salary ka question, then I always have to remember that I have to give standard deduction. When I'm doing house property ka question, I have to take municipal taxes only which are paid during the year. There would be entries to confuse you, very small checkpoint. When I'm taking ATC, I have to see nothing is in cash, or ATD, I have to see nothing is in cash. When I'm claiming ATG, 2000 se zyada cash mein nahi. All of these are the points which you have to remember. Then remember all these small things. Now coming to section, I think this is the favorite question of everyone. Should we remember the sections? Handful at your level. See, if I would have advised to final people, I would have said there is no compromise, you have to remember the section. But at your level, there are handful of 20-30 sections which you should remember. When I talk about section 9, you should know it is about income deemed to accrue. When I talk about section 6, you should know it is your residential status. When I talk about section 32, you should know that we are talking about depreciation. When I talk about section 54 exemptions, then you know it is capital gain exemptions. All of these things you should remember. I'm not saying you dug more deep into subsections and the clauses. Remembering it, not an issue. Not remembering it, very good. Not remembering it is not an issue, but basic 30-40 sections you should remember at your particular level. You should know that section 24 means there is standard deduction for house property 30%, and 24B is your interest or loan. These things, there is no say ki don't remember chalega, no. But obviously again at the end of the day the thing remains same, do not quote a wrong section. Okay, all of these things I hope is clear. Now coming to attempting the paper, same, do not go with panic mind, same, do the things which you know you can do with the best mindset. Instead of completing the entire exam, please do not forget that you have to present it in a manner that a teacher can find the answer he's looking for. The moment he has to dug his mind and confuse himself, okay, where is the answer which I'm looking for, he will also not be interested in looking to your attempt. Okay, so try to give it very clear to the teacher who would be checking your exam. So again, as we were attempting it, I focused it. Show the tax liability clearly. Whatever is asked, remember to show it. Abhi question में tax payables अगर हम tax liability पे खत्म कर देते, even if we had the right answer, but we would have missed 2-3 marks. Okay, all of these things you have to remember. And by saying it again and again, that focus on the presentation, I'm not saying you to do only 60% mark or presentation questions where you give so much to beautify karne mein that you leave your exam. No, I'm saying practice in a manner that your mind and your hand speed work according to that timelines. For a 16-mark question, try to cover it in 15-20 minutes max. 30 minutes ho raha hai, panic mat karo, but try to not take it more than that. You should know where you have to stop it and move to the next question. Okay, so time management and mind management is very important, and that you can do by giving 2 minutes more to your paper and analyzing it. What should I do first? What should I do later? What should be better? Doing fresh mind. What should not be better? Take your call, and please, your paper is your paper. Do not apply someone else's strategies unforcibly. Whatever suits you, do it better. If you're comfortable doing tough question first, and you know that I would be taking easy question later, fine. If you're comfortable doing easy question first, and you know कि पहले इसको secure करके I can take tough, totally your strategy, how you have been comfortable in your 20 years of age for attempting the exams. Okay. And do not compare the theory of some person will say, I've done 2 times the revision, 3 times the revision, and you are wondering, oh no, I'm left behind. definitely you should buck up, but do not demotivate yourself on any given day. Okay, क्वेश्चंस को सीरी वाइज करना नेसेसरी है, नो वन सेज दैट, बट हाँ फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन के अगर 5 पार्ट्स हैं, डू नॉट try to avoid to the maximum thing that if first question has 5 parts, try to do all the 5 parts in one go, rather than first question ka first part is kahin and first question ka fourth part is kahin. Again, कुछ ऐसे hard and fast नहीं है, but this is important, it gives an impression. Thank you, Alok. So try to do that. First 1 2 3 4 5 6 में 2 3 4 1 5 कुछ भी ऐसे कर सकते हो, but if a question has 5 parts, try to do it in one go. Okay. All my blessings, all my best wishes are with you for exam. Try to relate what you have studied. Try to relate it again and again. I'm saying doing computation wala chapter is the best way to revise all your provisions. Even I made a mistake while forgetting about the TDS. Oh, since the dividend is given, since the UTI amount is given, definitely TDS should be there, and no one will take the impact of TDS. No, advanced tax area I would have asked ki khatam. No, TDS has to be there. Similarly, I did that mistake while taking a shortcut from 115 BSc by taking gross income while I was taking the impact from the total income. So all of those things, if I can make a mistake, anyone can. And I'm not saying that I am the one. No, I'm the superior one. No, it's like someday your mind does not work, or sometimes we get overconfident, or sometimes we are in hesitant. Oh, no, we have to go to the other aspect, we have to do another question. So that time we skip few things. Okay, so anyone can make mistakes. Allow yourselves to make mistakes, and that would be only when you are practicing it. If you will not allow yourself to make mistakes while practicing, while doing the question, then you will make while doing the final exam, you will make the mistake. So it's better abhi mistakes karo, abhi analyze karo. Correct? So articleship किस field में करनी चाहिए? Since this is an age when you are very raw, people will suggest you to go to big fours. People will suggest you to stick to a mediocre firm to learn new things. But at the same time, learning again is everywhere. If you see yourself practicing, if you see yourself involving in different things, it's suggested that you should get an exposure of all things at least once, and then you can move to big four. If you want to have that corporate touch from day one, to have that grooming from day one in your personality, you can go to big four. So every place has its own pros and cons, but everything at the same time should match your career goals. Okay, Kavita? So thank you, everyone. Wish you all a very happy, prosperous, and successful new year. I wish that the new year brings you more motivation, more success, more happiness, and most importantly, a good health for you and your dear ones. Please move to the next year with a lot of gratitude in mind, with a lot of gratefulness for what has happened, and for a lot of positivity for what good will happen. Okay? So thank you so much. I hope to see you all soon in the final year. Thank you so much. Chart बना के कविता deductions वाले chapter का best work is make the chart. Thank you.